You know, we often hear that drinking water first thing in the morning is one of the best habits to have. And in many ways, that's true. However, there's something that isn't discussed as often: how morning hydration can actually be harmful if it's done incorrectly. It might sound surprising. After all, it's just water. But the reality is that as we age, our bodies no longer react the same way they used to. What worked in your 30s or 40s might not feel right in your 60s, 70s, or beyond. This isn't because you're doing anything wrong. It's because your body requires a bit more care and awareness. With a lifetime of experiences behind you, your heart, kidneys, and digestion have all been through a lot. When you wake up in the morning, your body is in a delicate state. Hormones are shifting, blood pressure is adjusting, and your stomach and muscles are just beginning to awaken. If we don't treat that moment gently, even something as simple as water can have adverse effects. In this video, we're going to explore 5 common mistakes people often make when drinking water first thing in the morning. Most individuals aren't even aware they're committing these errors. By the end of this video, you'll not only know what to avoid, but also feel more confident about caring for your body during those first few minutes of the day. Before we dive in, I'd love to know where you're tuning in from. Comment below and share your city. I always enjoy hearing from you. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more tips like these. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming up next. Mistake number 1, drinking ice-cold water on an empty stomach. Let me ask you this. Have you ever taken a big gulp of cold water in the morning and suddenly felt your stomach twist a little? Or maybe a chill down your chest? Some people even feel lightheaded or get a headache shortly afterward. And most of the time, they just shrug it off or attribute it to something else. But here's the truth. Drinking ice-cold water first thing in the morning, especially on an empty stomach, can be a shock to your body, which isn't prepared for it. When we sleep, our bodies enter a relaxed healing state. Our organs slow down, digestion quiets, and blood vessels become slightly constricted. Then morning arrives, and instead of easing into the day, we chug a glass of freezing cold water. It's like slamming on the brakes while the engine is still warming up. This causes your stomach muscles to tighten, your blood vessels to narrow even further, and your system to go on high alert. And when you're older, your body doesn't bounce back as quickly from that kind of stress. Back in your youth, cold water might have felt refreshing, maybe even energizing. But as we age, our metabolism slows down, our circulation becomes more sensitive, and our internal thermostat doesn't manage extremes as well as it once did. Consequently, cold water can end up making you feel worse rather than better. Not because water is harmful, but because the temperature is too harsh for your system at that time of day. Let me tell you about someone named Eleanor. At 76, she's sharp as a tack and used to love her morning glass of cold water straight from the fridge. She believed it helped clear her throat and wake her up. However, she began noticing that her hands felt cold, her stomach cramped slightly, and her digestion seemed sluggish throughout the morning. It wasn't until her doctor recommended switching to water at room temperature that things improved. Within a week, her mornings felt calmer and smoother, and her stomach no longer felt like it was tying itself in knots. That small change, letting the water sit out a bit or using lukewarm water, made all the difference. It serves as a reminder that what once worked for us doesn't always continue to do so. Our bodies deserve gentleness after carrying us for decades, so the least we can do is offer them water that doesn't feel like a shock first thing in the morning. If you've been reaching for that ice-cold glass as soon as you wake up, try room temperature water and see how your body responds over a few days. You might be surprised by how much better your mornings begin. Mistake number 2. Drinking water too fast or in big gulps. I know how tempting it is to wake up, grab that glass, and chug it down, especially when you're thirsty or your mouth feels dry. But here's the thing. Drinking water too quickly, particularly in those first few minutes after waking up, can throw your body off balance, and most people don't even realize it's happening. When we first wake up, our body is still transitioning. Your heart rate is gently increasing, your blood pressure is adjusting, and your stomach lining hasn't fully awakened yet. Everything is just beginning to find its rhythm after a long night of rest. And then suddenly, we dump a full glass of water in one go. That sudden influx can cause your stomach to expand quickly, trigger bloating, or even leave you feeling nauseous or dizzy. Some people might even experience a strange flutter in their chest without knowing why. The real issue isn't the water itself, it's how quickly we're drinking it. When you gulp too rapidly, your body doesn't have enough time to process what's coming in. Your kidneys are forced to work overtime to deal with the sudden fluid intake, and your electrolyte balance shifts rapidly. For older adults whose systems are more sensitive, this can create a ripple effect that leaves you feeling off for hours. Consider Walter's story. At 72, this retired coach used to wake up and drink a full bottle of water before his feet even touched the floor. He thought he was being disciplined and healthy, but on some mornings he felt strangely dizzy. Not all the time, but often enough to be bothersome. After discussing this with his doctor, they discovered the problem was the speed and quantity of his water consumption. He wasn't giving his body time to adjust, so he made one simple change. He began sipping his water slowly over 15 to 20 minutes. No more rushing, no more guzzling. And just like that, the dizziness disappeared. His mornings became easier, and his energy stayed more steady. No big medication changes, no fancy solutions, just a more mindful approach to drinking water. Think about it, your body doesn't want to flood first thing in the morning. It wants a gentle stream. Take your time, sit up, breathe, and sip slowly, allowing your body to absorb the water instead of overwhelming it. It's not a race, it's a moment of care. If you've been chugging your water to get it out of the way, consider slowing down tomorrow and observe how you feel. Sometimes the smallest adjustment can make the biggest difference. Mistake number 3, drinking from plastic bottles left out overnight. This one might come as a surprise, especially if you're someone who likes to keep a water bottle by your bedside. It's convenient, it's within reach, and it seems like a good habit. But here's something most people don't realize. Drinking from plastic bottles that have been left out overnight, especially in a warm room, can expose you to chemicals you don't want in your body. Even though it appears to be plain water, the bottle might be leaching substances into it as it sits. One of the major concerns is BPA, which is often found in older or lower quality plastics. Even if a bottle is labeled BPA-free, there can be other similar chemicals in the plastic that behave in the same way once heat and time come into play. These chemicals are known as endocrine disruptors, meaning they can mimic or interfere with your natural hormones. And as we age, our hormonal balance is already a bit more fragile. Maybe you're taking medication for your thyroid, managing your blood pressure, or monitoring your blood sugar levels. When foreign chemicals enter your system, even in small amounts, they can make it harder for your body to regulate itself. You might not notice the effects immediately, but over time, people often report feeling more tired, moody, bloated, or just off without knowing why. Let me tell you about Stanley. At 78, he always made sure to drink water. He'd fill up a plastic bottle from the tap, leave it by the bed, and sip throughout the morning. It seemed like a healthy routine. But after a few months, he began experiencing more headaches, strange digestive issues, and persistent tiredness even after a full night's sleep. Nothing in his diet had changed. His doctor didn't find anything alarming, but after speaking with a nutritionist, they pinpointed the issue: his plastic bottle. It was being refilled and reused, and it was sitting near a warm lamp overnight. Stanley switched to a glass bottle and started pouring fresh water each morning instead of reusing old bottles. Within a few weeks, his headaches eased, his energy improved, and he felt like himself again. No one is suggesting that a single sip of water from a plastic bottle will ruin your health, but doing it every day over weeks or months can add up. Your liver, kidneys, and hormones all have to work harder to process these chemicals. And for older adults, that extra strain matters. If you have a plastic bottle by your bedside right now, perhaps it's time for a little upgrade. Consider using glass or stainless steel and refill it with fresh water each morning. It's a simple habit change that might just give your body a bit more peace. Mistake number 5, skipping breakfast and replacing it with only water. Let's be honest, there's a lot of advice out there, and not all of it fits everyone. You might have heard suggestions like, just drink water in the morning, skip breakfast, let your body fast. That might work for some younger individuals or people following strict health programs, but for older adults, starting your day with only water and no food can slowly wear you down. When you wake up in the morning, your body has already been fasting overnight for maybe 8 to 10 hours. Your blood sugar is low, your energy reserves are depleted, your brain needs fuel to function clearly, and your muscles need nutrients to remain strong. Drinking water without any food might seem okay at first, but as the day progresses, many people start feeling tired, shaky, moody, or mentally foggy. They might blame stress or poor sleep, but often it's simply a lack of nourishment. Water can rehydrate your cells, yes, but it can't replace the nutrients your body needs to operate, especially if you follow that water with coffee and nothing else. You're essentially pushing your system further out of balance by stimulating it without a proper foundation underneath it. And over time, that can make your mornings much more challenging. Let me tell you about Alice. At 69, she's sharp and independent. In an attempt to simplify her mornings, she decided to try intermittent fasting by skipping breakfast and only drinking water until noon. At first, she lost a little weight and thought it was working, but soon she noticed her mood dipping and her memory becoming fuzzy. She'd repeat things without even realizing it. Her daughter noticed these changes and encouraged her to visit her doctor. It turned out that there was no major health issue. Alice simply wasn't getting enough fuel in the morning. Her brain was running on empty. Once she reintroduced a small breakfast, nothing elaborate, just a boiled egg, a slice of toast, and some fruit, her energy returned. She felt brighter, steadier, and more like herself again. That small shift provided her with clarity and strength that she hadn't experienced in months. Here's the key takeaway. Don't mistake less for better, especially when it comes to food in the morning. Water is an important part of a healthy routine, but your body also needs real fuel to start the day. Some protein, a bit of fiber, so your mind stays sharp and your body stays strong. If you've been skipping breakfast thinking it's helping you, consider adding something simple. A handful of nuts, a bit of oatmeal, or even a smoothie. You might be surprised at how much better your whole day feels when you provide your body with what it truly needs. It's amazing how something as simple as water, something we've been drinking our entire lives, can feel so different as we get older. Not because the water has changed, but because we have. Our bodies are wiser now, more sensitive, and they ask us to listen a little more carefully than before. That's really what today's conversation has been about. It isn't about fear or strict rules. It's about awareness, about noticing the small things that can quietly affect how we feel every day. When your mornings feel off, when you're bloated, anxious, or foggy, it doesn't always mean something is wrong with you. It might just mean your routine needs a gentle adjustment. Maybe tomorrow you'll decide to skip the ice-cold water and opt for room temperature instead. Perhaps you'll slow down, taking small sips rather than rushing through it. Or you might stop using that old plastic bottle and switch to a fresh glass one. And maybe, just maybe, you'll decide to pair your water with a bit of breakfast to give your body the energy it deserves. If anything in this video resonated with you, if something clicked or made you reconsider your own routine even a little, that's a beautiful thing. It means you're still growing, still learning, and still investing in your health. And that mindset is powerful. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope you try one of these tips tomorrow and see how you feel. Trust your body, it will let you know if you found this helpful. Feel free to share this video with someone you care about, a friend, a sibling, or even a neighbor. You never know who might be quietly dealing with the same issues. And if you'd like to see more honest, gentle health conversations like this, please subscribe or follow so we can keep learning together. Because your comfort matters, your clarity matters, and you matter. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you again soon.